Welcome to Inside British Royals. This is your exclusive look inside the world's most famous family. We are exploring the scandals, secrets, and power plays that define the modern monarchy. If you are new here, please do well to hit that subscribe button for more updates. Sarah Ferguson is trapped. The money has run out, the palace doors are slamming shut, and the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein is back, this time with her own words as evidence. As the world pours over her fawning emails to the disgraced financier, and with her ex-husband Andrew facing immense legal pressure, the former Duchess of York faces a terrifying choice: go down with the man she once called her soulmate, or save herself by telling the police everything she knows. For decades, Sarah Ferguson has walked a financial tightrope. Nicknamed the Duchess of Debt, her lavish tastes have always clashed with her famously shaky finances. After her 1996 divorce from Andrew, she was left with a reported settlement of just £15,000 a year, nowhere near enough to keep up the lifestyle of a woman still moving in royal circles. This hunt for cash became the defining theme of her post-royal life. Her attempts at a business empire were mostly a string of costly flops. Her American wellness company, Heartmore LLC, collapsed in 2009, leaving $1 million in debt. At one point, she was reportedly juggling over 200 creditors and getting sued for unpaid bills. This was the same time she was caught in a newspaper sting, promising access to her ex-husband, then a UK trade envoy, for £500,000. In a moment of pure desperation, she told an undercover reporter, "I will open any door you want." Now, that financial house of cards is collapsing entirely. In February 2026, filings were made to dissolve 6 of her companies, including a PR firm and a lifestyle brand called Fergie's Farm, representing the last embers of her commercial dreams, now snuffed out by scandal. But financial ruin is just one part of the storm. The other is the name that has destroyed her ex-husband and now threatens to swallow her whole: Jeffrey Epstein. For years, Ferguson tried to publicly distance herself from the convicted sex offender. She admitted to taking £15,000 from him to help pay off debts, calling it a gigantic error of judgment. But recently released Epstein files tell a far different and much more disturbing story. They paint a picture not of a casual acquaintance, but of a deep, dependent, and shockingly close friendship that went on long after Epstein's crimes were public knowledge. The emails are damning. In them, she reportedly calls Epstein her supreme friend and the brother I have always wished for. In one now infamous exchange from 2010, after he had already served time for soliciting a minor, she appears to write, "You are a legend. I am at your service. Just marry me." The documents suggest a consistent pattern of financial reliance. A biographer has even alleged Epstein may have funneled as much as £2 million to her over the years. In one email, she appears to plead for a job, writing, "Don't you just get me to be your house assistant? I am the most capable and desperately need the money." The final wall to close in on her was the complete implosion of Prince Andrew's reputation. After he was stripped of his titles and forced out of their shared home at Royal Lodge, the scandal moved from the tabloids into the cold reality of public disgrace and potential legal consequences. For Sarah, who had lived with Andrew for decades even after their divorce, his fall from grace was her own. Tied to a man who is now a pariah and implicated by her own words, she is utterly alone. For Sarah Ferguson, there isn't much left to lose. The consequences of her association with Epstein are already raining down. In early February 2026, it was announced that her main charity, Sarah's Trust, would be closing for the foreseeable future. The organization, founded in 2020, was her primary platform for public work. Its closure, just days after the new Epstein files were released, was a devastating public blow. And it wasn't the first hit. Other charities had already cut ties with her. Her standing within the royal family has evaporated. King Charles III ordered Andrew's eviction from Royal Lodge, the home they both shared, signaling a definitive end to their life on the royal fringe. Prince William, the future king, reportedly views her as persona non grata and a threat to the monarchy. Her public image is in tatters, with her brand now described by insiders as simply toxic. Reports suggest she is desperately seeking a fresh start and, above all, money. One friend was quoted directly, stating Ferguson had told them, "I need to get back to work. I need money." It's this desperation that brings her to a cliff's edge. With her reputation destroyed, her businesses shuttered, and her finances in shambles, what loyalty does she still owe the family that has seemingly cast her out? What does she owe the man whose catastrophic choices have dragged her down with him? For the first time, self-preservation may finally outweigh decades of loyalty. The question is no longer if she'll talk, but what she could say if she does. Based on her unique position at the very center of Andrew's life for over 30 years, investigators would have a nearly endless list of questions for her. If Sarah Ferguson were to cooperate, this is what they'd want to know. First, they'd focus on the money. How, exactly, did Jeffrey Epstein's cash flow into the York household? The emails confirm she asked for and received funds, but her testimony could light up the entire financial pipeline. Was it just her, or was Andrew a beneficiary too? How was the money transferred, and what was it for? As someone who managed a household with him for decades, she's one of the only people who could untangle the complex, and likely undeclared, financial deals that kept their lavish lifestyle afloat. Second, investigators would press her on the social network. Who else was involved? Her emails confirm she introduced her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, to Epstein after his release from jail. Her personal diaries, calendars, and contacts could provide a roadmap to the entire social circle that surrounded Andrew and Epstein. She would know who visited their home, who they traveled with, and who was present at key moments. This includes Andrew's decision to invite Epstein to Buckingham Palace. Finally, and most critically, she could be the key to dismantling Andrew's entire defense. As his housemate, confidant, and one half of the self-described happiest divorced couple in the world, she knows his secrets better than anyone. Where was he on key dates? Who was he with? What was his state of mind during the years he was friends with Epstein? She would have first-hand knowledge of his movements, his phone calls, and his private conversations. She would have seen the planning, the aftermath, and the excuses for his behavior. Her testimony could either back up his stories or expose them as lies. She is the ultimate insider, the one person who can tell authorities what was really happening behind the closed doors of Royal Lodge. Sarah Ferguson is a woman cornered. Friends report she is in a bad way, struggling with her mental health and feeling that everyone is out to get her. Her escape to places like the UAE is seen not just as a holiday, but as a potential move to a place where she feels she can make money and be treated as royalty. But the shadows of her past are long, and they can reach all the way to the Middle East. She is facing a future of financial ruin and public disgrace. The staggering fallout from her ex-husband's scandal has changed the game entirely, moving the story from the front pages of tabloids into the cold reality of police investigations and public condemnation. One source has reportedly said that while Ferguson may not write a tell-all book, she might end up having to tell that story to the police. For a woman who has survived for decades on royal connections and public charm, the path forward is terrifyingly narrow. Betraying Andrew and the secrets she has kept for so long may be the only move she has left, not for revenge, but for sheer survival. Do you think Sarah Ferguson will finally break her silence to save herself? Let us know in the comments below. And for more deep dives into the scandals shaking the royal world, make sure to subscribe to our channel.